And take two. Welcome to this edition of the 941 Sports Zone. Gotta love technical difficulties there, John. And
If they only knew what we have to do, or actually what you have to do, when the technical difficulties come flopping in here. So, but we'll do. I'm blaming everything on the weather.
yes,
How's that sound?
well, it's not generational, but certainly it's cold as it's been in 15 plus years down there.
Oh yeah.
And it was another chilly start to the morning. I think you have one more chilly morning to go. And then I heard 70 tomorrow, 69, 70, something like
It's
that.
going to get back to about 70, and then the end of the week, the highs are back in the high 50s to low 60s, which is as far as we are concerned, that's too cold to begin with.
Yeah.
So we can't handle it at all.
Exactly.
So we're going back to normal cold for us.
Okay.
But I said I'd like to be where it can be very difficult to get good weather in the desert. But my Scottsdale is not happening this year for me. So I wore my 16 hat for hole number 16 out at Waste Management Phoenix Open, and I got my hoodie from last year. So not making it back. I've had a good run. I've gone every year since COVID, and probably 4 years before COVID and whatnot over the years. So great event. Anybody who has an opportunity. What's that?
You'll be back next year.
Oh yeah, I'll be back next year. I always look at things like this, Rich. If you got to clear a hurdle or two to kind of get to do a trip like this, you do it. Right. When you got to clear 10 hurdles, mind you, not high hurdles, because at my age and with my sciatica, I can't go belly over the curb. But when there's about 10 little hurdles to get over, and it's not just anything of your making, it's other things and whatnot. You just say it's better not to do this because it's probably going to be a miserable time if you do. So we decided to cash it in this year and get to watch it on TV and then really want to go back. I'll probably go back for 2 weeks next year.
Yeah, there you go. All right, 941 Sports Zone is brought to you as always by Mighty Dog Roofing of Southwest Florida, locally owned and nationally backed, delivering exceptional roofing for homes and businesses throughout the Gulf Coast. Give them a shout. 941-251-4257 is their number. 941-251-4257. We got a lot to cover, so let's get right to it. The NHL Outdoor Series made its way to Tampa last night. 45th outdoor game in the NHL history. And a lot of people saying today, and I know recency bias usually jumps in a little bit, but John, a lot of people saying this might have been the best one ever, because not only was the venue great, not only was the lead up great, not only was the tie into Gasparilla great, but the game turned out to be great as well.
It was fantastic. Visually, the whole concept of it was fantastic. Like I said, tying it into Gasparilla, Bucks coming out in the creamsicle uniforms, being led out into the stadium by Baker Mayfield and Tristan Wirfs wearing their Lightning gear, 61,000 plus fans in the stadium. And then you get the most optimum weather you could ever ask for an outdoor hockey game in Florida, mind you. That's the big, how are they going to make it work? And it was freezing. It was below 32 degrees last night, probably when the game ended. And you had a situation where you had it was too cold, but karma was playing out for some good things and good vibes that the Lightning and the ownership have had over the years.
Yeah, it was so cold that they actually had to heat the ice to keep it safe. Apparently, if it gets below a certain temperature, it could crack, which would lead to divots, which would lead to a very dangerous playing situation. And everybody that played and really visually on TV, a lot of times when you see the outdoor game, it doesn't look aesthetically well. It looks like it's a little slower than a normal game. It looked fantastic last night. It looked like the ice was good. You had very little issues. Certainly you didn't have any issues with it failing on you, getting too warm.
Right.
And that's all you can ask for. And then the play on the ice was scintillating. 11 seconds in, Brandon Hagel scores and the Lightning get the lead. And then for the next 30 minutes, they're on their heels. The Bruins played extremely well. They were clearly the better team on 5-on-5 all night long. They got a couple of power plays as well early in the game, and they run out to a 5-1 lead. And a lot of people were like, well, everything was great. The presentation was great. The weekend was great. So the game didn't live up to it. Oh, good thing nobody left, and nobody did leave.
Right. No, it was, again, it was an event. You don't, bad games, middle of the season, nothing, you walk out of a game like that, probably
Right.
not going to hang out when it's a regular home game. But what was going on last night, the festivities, the continuation, or actually the culmination of Gasparilla at that point on a Sunday night, just made for a night that I think that was meant to be as good as it was.
And then the Lightning got some help from the Bruins, the team that has taken the most penalties in the NHL this year, and they started to pile them up. Lightning had a 2-man advantage and then got a longer 2-man advantage because somebody closed their hand on the puck in the crease. Then it wasn't the goaltender. So they had an elongated 5-on-3 and ended up scoring 2 goals to make it a 1-goal game at 5-4, just when everything looked hopeless.
Yeah. And like I said, the idea that the Lightning could even come back from that was probably, in your distant mind. And then all of a sudden you start seeing the little things that have to happen to make a comeback start like that. You said there was the penalties accumulation. Of course, there also was the main event for the night, other than the game, but the goalie fight that sort of got the Lightning sort of, it was a cold smack in the face. Say, hey, look, we're playing this game. What everybody's into, this is not an exhibition. This counts.
Right.
And that right there, it really changed the narrative of how the game went forward from there.
No question about it. The Lightning certainly were buoyed by that. And then the first star in the NHL for the month of January, Nikita Kucherov, who had 31 points in the month, which is kind of hard to do. You only play like 12, 13 games. He tied the game with an absolute blast from the side, and it was a tie game.
One-timers to me are they're unbelievable. It's like, and that they're just not blasting it aimlessly. That like that shot was over the left shoulder on the short side. I mean, he knew where he was going with the puck, and he did it. Again, there's a margin for error, but that's where he wanted that puck to go. It wasn't just a random shot. He was aiming for that top side, and just an unbelievable shot.
And then a couple of chances for each team down the stretch, but we had to overtime. Overtime was interesting. Looked like the Bruins had won the game. Pastrnak scored. However, he had also tripped somebody when the Lightning were in the offensive zone. They replayed. It was clearly a trip. So he headed to the sin bin. Great job by the Bruins to kill that penalty off. Take the game into a shootout, and the shootout was, the two goalies for a game that had 10 goals. Yeah. I thought both goalies played extremely well in the game.
That's what a great game isn't, for a goalie, doesn't always a 1-0 shutout. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? You get a game where both teams are playing at their top level, and you make clutch saves. That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. And so he made the saves when it needed to be made. His team picked them up when he got a little behind, but nonetheless, he like I said, both goalies. If you watch that game, you can't say that they got when they got beat legit. There was no soft goals in that game. So it was a great performance.
Vasilevsky, should be noted, after the fight, didn't give up a goal. Not in regulation, not in overtime, and not in the shootout, although David Pastrnak hit the post with a chance to send it to a 4th round in the shootout after Jake Gensel had sniped one perfectly over Swayman's shoulder to give the Lightning the 1-0 lead in the shootout, and they ended up winning the shootout 1-0 and the game 6-5. If it's me, I don't ever want to see another outdoor game in Tampa again. I don't think they could do it any better.
No, I think you're right. I think that was sort of you had to try it. The franchise deserved it. The ownership deserved it. Again, to follow it up on the tail end of Gasparilla and be able to promote that as well to the country, to 2 countries. They're watching in Canada for sure.
Yep.
And so now it was a little cold, but everybody knows that that's not the norm in Florida. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, but it was a great postcard of what Tampa Bay can be as a community and as a sports community. And yeah, I think you say thanks. Appreciate the one. I'll take my one and go. Go knock it out in 30 other places if you got to, or whatever it may be. So I thought I think it's a one-off.
Yeah, Jeffrey Vinnick couldn't make it. Snowmobile accident. He's still in Norway, but I'm sure he watched on TV. But they really made everybody who was a part of this. Rob Higgins, who now works for USF, he's the CEO of sports for USF. He was the guy that was instrumental in helping make this happen. He's brought Super Bowls. We talk about this all the time. There have been 4 Frozen Fours in Tampa in the last decade or so. He's the reason. He drives the bus. Why would we come to Tampa in April and then people come to the tournament and they're like, oh man, why is it anywhere else? Seriously.
Yeah, no, I know that they're still trying to work out the Rays stadium situation, but there's a home run waiting to happen if they can ever get a stadium down by where everything's down by the Lightning arena. It's unbelievable down there, and it has a great setup. And I think it would be a no-brainer. I think it would be a no-brainer. The views, everything you could have won from a broadcasting perspective, from bringing fans in, it would be phenomenal. It really would be.
All right. The Lightning now 17-1-1 in their last 19 games. That's kind of hard to do. And that includes that 8-5 loss in Columbus, which was a complete anomaly a week ago Saturday, but they continue to pile up the points. They're now 4 points ahead of Detroit. And John, they still have 3 games in hand. Win those, and you're 10 points ahead.
Right. No, they're on a path right now that I mean, again, I don't want to sound nervous or worry too much, but I really want them to go into the playoffs with momentum. But I don't want to see them carrying, a 30-1-1 thing going. And that never works out for anybody. You know what I mean? If you start worrying about the records and everything else, we're waiting for something to happen. So I hope that they can get a nice big lead, get everybody healthy going into the playoffs, keep momentum going from that direction, and see where it comes. But there's still a lot of veterans that have been on with the consecutive cup winners, and a great head coach and coaching staff to lead them through there. Well, so let's see. People are going to get, if that happens, Rich, that's a long way away, but people are going to get tired of the cup being in Florida.
They already are. I can tell you from living up here, they are. I mean, there hasn't been a team that's been outside of Florida that's represented at the Eastern Conference this decade. Think about that. This decade. We're in 2026.
It's funny. But I mean, I guess if you really wanted to dig deep on it and you do the real see how it is, and you could talk to players, quality of life, no state taxes.
Yep.
Making more, and because you go the flip side, and let's say you're playing Ottawa, and I'm just picking one area,
Canadian city, right?
And you're getting hammered with on the tax side of things. It's cold all the time. You know what I mean? You can't. It's okay. You're inside. Everything is an inside scenario. Go outside and say, or you go before a game that night, you go down to the country club and play a round of golf, or 9 holes, or go to a walk on the beach. Man, hockey players, they don't grow up that way. You know what I mean? They don't grow up in that situation. So this is like a little bastion of like the vacation lands wrapped around Disney World, wrapped around great fan base, wrapped around good owners, you name it. There's a lot to be said about that. So you might be seeing people or players who are really taking advantage of what Florida has to offer in regards to their quality of life.
No question about it. 2 pretty good organizations too. Let's be real. They're top of the shelf. Florida's kind of lagged behind a little bit as far as the fan base goes. Tampa's always had the fan base. They have one of the biggest rinks there is, and it's full every single night. So hats off. The Olympic break is coming. I think that's probably going to be a good thing, even though everybody's like, oh my God, the momentum that's going to stop the momentum. I think it comes at a very good time. You mentioned the injuries. Victor Hedman played last night for the first time since December 9th. Braden Point is still out for Tampa
Right.
Bay. So he's going to take the time during the Olympic break. I know he wants to play for Team Canada, but if I'm John Cooper, I'm like, dude, just we got plenty.
No, there's got to be some. I don't want to call it loyalty, but it's got to be some common sense that says, hey, this risk is a little too much for where I'm at. I'm sure he'll be on the team. He might not play. I'm sure whatever. He'll get his flowers, I'm sure, for whatever he does or doesn't do.
The Lightning last two games before the Olympic break, both at home. A very hot Buffalo team comes to town on Tuesday. And then the Florida Panthers right before the Olympics. Be an interesting game because they've played some knockdown, drag them out games the last couple of years where it gets nasty on the ice. Right before the Olympic break, I'm hoping that the two teams I don't want to say they just skate around, but I hope they don't have the same chippiness, if you will. And when
it's interesting because it's hard to say what you're going to get with a game like that. Hey, we got a week and a half off. Let's leave on a high note. Mm-hmm. Or, because you don't want to lose 8-0, or something like that. But
no,
who's to say? And do you rest your goalie? Who knows? It could be a lot of things like that. But no, I would probably probably the last team I want to pick before I left out for the Olympics. But that's schedule maker makes what the schedule maker makes. So you got to just go ahead and do that, right? Whatever what comes of it. I'm sure it'll be a good game.
Yeah, both teams winning on the other's ice so far this year, 1-1. They are. Lightning winning in Sunrise, and then Florida winning here not too long ago. I guess right before the streak, the Lightning 17-1-1 streak. All right. 941 Sports Zone presented by Mighty Dog Roofing of Southwest Florida. 941-251-4257 is the number. Give them a shout. Get that roof taken care of. Might be a little drafty right now with this cold weather. Get it fixed. 941-251-4257. They do work up and down the Gulf Coast. John, both teams arrived yesterday for Super Bowl 60 in San Francisco, which is about 45 minutes to an hour from the actual stadium. Remember in the late 90s when the Final Four was at whatever you want to call it, Thunderdome, Tropicana Field, as it's known now. And everybody was bitching about the fact, oh my God, everything's in Tampa, and then we got to go across the bridge to St. Pete, which is what, about 20 minutes, 25? Right. We're talking 45 minutes to an hour with no traffic, which there never is, in San Francisco to get to Santa Clara. Everything that they're doing this week is in San Francisco, and the game's in Santa Clara. A lot of people that are covering won't even see the stadium while they're there for the 4, 5, 6 days, whatever they do. Big story coming out, of course, is Drake May, quarterback for the Patriots. He was limited in practice Wednesday and Thursday, did not practice on Friday. And remember when I did my What's Bugging Me last week about the 2-week break?
Yep.
Well, the Patriots are happy there's a 2-week break because if he had to play yesterday,
it would have been tough.
60%, 70%, whereas you get a whole nother week. The illness is gone. I can tell you that. I mean, I saw him on the send-off yesterday. They had something at Gillette Stadium and below zero wind chills, and the fans all came out and everything. But he spoke and he sounded fine. And I think the sickness part's gone. Now it's getting the shoulder ready, and the Patriots are playing it very close to the vest.
As they do.
Right. If it's an AC joint, it's going to bother them no matter what.
Right.
But at least they're going to play in much more pristine conditions than they played the last 3 weeks. Let's face it. I mean, 3 weeks. I mean, it was bitterly cold against the Chargers. We had the snow in the Houston game at Gillette. And then, of course, we had the second half snow last week in Denver. Conditions in San Francisco, I checked, should be pretty benign for Sunday.
That's what I said. The same thing. I think the West Coast, if all that down, are going to have nice weather leading into this weekend. So I think they're going to be okay.
So hopefully he can get to as close to 100%. Hate to have a game of this magnitude decided by, an injury here or there. He's going to be the second youngest quarterback to suit up and play and start in a Super Bowl. You know who's first?
First youngest guy to
Youngest
play?
guy ever. Yeah.
To start. Okay. Dan Marino.
Yes, sir. Can't fool. Good job. Yeah,
Thank
Dan Marino by about 35 days. Marino was younger. We all know what happened. San Francisco ate his lunch, basically.
Oh God,
Well,
yeah.
ate their lunch. Again, not having a running game. Where the Patriots have not had a running game in the postseason, but I think they'll be much more in tune in San Francisco. That still being said, John, I think Seattle's got an advantage here because I think the defense is wash. And I think, I know Sam Darnold, and I know everybody's talked about this. Actually saw a podcast where Justin Jefferson, they fired their GM in Minnesota on Friday.
Minnesota.
I guess
What happened in Minnesota? Like they lost Sam Darnold and everything from that. It's been just a mess for a year now at that organization.
They've won their last 5 games, but I guess the whole thing is they put their eggs in the JJ McCarthy basket as opposed to the Sam Darnold basket, and he goes to the Super Bowl, and they're like,
yeah,
we need to do something. Strange timing to me, but that nonetheless, Sam Darnold has been tremendous in the 2 playoff games, particularly against the Rams. He was really good. 345 yards, 3 TDs, no picks, no fumbles, and if he plays a clean game like that, it's going to be very tough for the Patriots.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think the matchup in this game is going to maybe a little peculiar. I think it's Sam Darnold versus Mike Vrabel, because I think that if you looked at how things are going, I mean, Drake May's had a great year. He's a MVP contender. Obviously, Sam Darnold, similarly to him. You've got McDonald as the coach for Seattle. He reminds me of Drake May as a coach. 2 years in, younger guy, but having a great year, coach of the year type year. And then you got Vrabel, he's the guy with who's been there. He's caught touchdown passes in the Super Bowl. He's blocked kicks. He's coached at a high level. I mean, he should never have been jettisoned from Tennessee.
Wow.
So what does he bring to the table? If you look at Vrabel, he's a Belichick limb from the tree that was Parcells. And what do they do well? They take away what you do well on defense. So Vrabel's going to go in with that philosophy that the Patriots have had. He's a new coach with new players, but it's the old style of the Patriots playing. He's bringing back the Belichickian Parcells like coaching stuff, and you see that. And people said, "I wonder why he picked the Patriots." Well, Parcells picked the Patriots in 99, 95, 96, who then went to the Jets. Belichick went with him. Belichick goes to the Patriots. Now Vrabel's there. You see this lineage. The Patriots aren't stupid. They're staying in with that philosophy, whatever the major philosophy is. So the Darnold versus Vrabel thing is interesting to me. See if they try to take away what Seattle does well, force them to be one-dimensional, and then try to play a game on offense that sort of helps that out.
Well, the one thing Belichick always did, and I think Vrabel will try to do, is take away your biggest weapon. That would be Jackson Smith and Jigma.
Yep.
Who was just tremendous against the Rams. 10 catches. That one-handed catch still sticks out in my mind. He is a top-flight wide receiver. So do you stick Christian Gonzalez on him one-on-one? Do you double him? Do you double him over the top and have somebody else beat you? How do you think it goes, John?
So I think that they do double him. I think they roll help over to that side. Okay, I think they're going to chip him at the line of scrimmage. They're going to play physical with him. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But this will give you a little hint into where I'm going. It's really good to have a Cooper Kupp on the other side.
Oh yeah,
because you're not asking Cooper Kupp to catch the ball 12 times. You're talking him to catch. Give me 5 or 6 good catches for about 50, 60 yards. Get me a first down when I need it, and make them have to make whatever they're trying to do to stop JSN. Go ahead and let Cooper Kupp pick up on the other side of things. And I think that was sometimes you forget that other guy over there was the guy making 150 catches in a season not long ago.
Right.
So he might be that he could play the part in the difference. But no, definitely going to come out, make it hard for him to make catches. I'm sure Seattle's going to want to get him started early, small, short catches. But what did you watch? Go back to Buffalo and the Giants way back when they played in Tampa in '91 or whatever it was. What did the Giants do on defense? They let him catch it and they hit him and they hit him and they hit him and they hit him and they kept it in front of him and it just beat them down. In a game that they were way over underdog because they had Jeff Hostetler or whatnot, but that's what they do. Okay, you want to throw the ball around, you want to feel good about it. You got an open guy, boom, 3-yard catch, and you got your ribs broken. 5-yard catch, and you got your arms not good. They're just going after people. And that's what I'm sure they'll do the same thing. They'll play physical with the receivers and see what they can handle.
And I think they'll try to shorten the Patriots. Will try to shorten the game. I think they haven't been able to run the ball as effectively as they did in the regular season, but I also don't think they 100% committed to it. I think they will in this game. I don't think there's any question. Keep Sam Darnold off the field. And here's the other thing about Darnold. He hasn't had a tremendous season, but I remember the end of the Bucs game where the Bucs, it was a tie game. They had the ball, about a minute to go, and the Bucs brought the house and forced him into a pick. You have to be, you can't do it all the time, but you have to be selective in bringing the pressure, making him make decisions quicker than he wants to. I think that's very important.
No, you're 100% right. Situational blitzing. A lot of defenses live and die with putting pressure as much as they possibly can. But where you have a solid quarterback and a solid coaching staff, normally you die in that situation. Because they'll figure out a way to get the ball out of their hands and take advantage of you sort of taking the risk that the blitz brings with you. By the way, Rich, I'd let everybody know that if you see me put my glasses on, it's because I put it out there to my universe, so to speak, and getting a poll of what the people feeling about the game. People that I know that they like to wager. Let's just say on sports.
A few shekels down. Yeah.
Got one of my partners in the VSN live stream, Jeff Fulcher, younger guy, taking Seattle. Okay. So that's one of the first ones. Hold on one second. I'll give you another one here. I got a coach that coaches up at Keystone Heights up in the north part of Florida, who he's feeling the Patriots. So we got one Seattle, one Patriots. His thought was that Darnold might go back to his old seeing ghost days in that situation.
If you keep waiting for that, you might be waiting all the way till next year.
Yeah, no doubt. Good friend of mine, another football coach as well. He likes Seattle. Defense is dominant, and their offense is kind of explosive. He likes them 27-17 Seattle.
Okay, so just under the number. I tell you what, there was some movement immediately. The line came out; it was 3.5. It went to 5, then it came back to 4.5. It has stayed at 4.5 now.
Yes, that number is
solid.
Beautiful number. It's getting to get you both sides, and you can see right now. So that's what I'm doing it now, so you can see. Our friend Trey Burton, he likes Seahawks. It isn't. He don't think it'll even be close, is what he says. Ooh. And so he's got that one. That's his choice.
Has money line gotten back to you?
The money line is playing. He's funny man tonight. He's telling jokes instead of asking. Give me a reason. Xavier from ABC7. He likes the Seahawks in a close game. So there you go. I got another buddy of mine who is a primetime wagerer, because he asked me his first question was, "Are you hitting the Hard Rock app for all the props?" Is what he asked me first. He wants to. He's betting on the Gatorade color, is what he says. Oh, but wow. He likes the Seahawks to cover as well. Right. Let me see who else we got here. My buddy Nebraska Dave. He's not sure. He's watching the public go heavy on Seattle, so he's leaning towards New England.
As a matter of fact, I'm watching ESPN as we do our show, just kind of peeking up. 66.7% of the money, public money, is on Seattle.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
the line hasn't moved. So that kind of tells you something. That tells you that the sneaky money, the bigger money is on the Patriots
Right.
in this
And
game.
that's what
If
I'm,
the line's not moving, that kind of tells the story a little bit.
and that's what he's saying. That's Nebraska Dave saying that, and he's he might just play the props again. Everybody likes the
Okay,
prop bets.
sure.
So then they got another buddy they'll like this one. My buddy Joe, he already won his preseason bet that New England and Seattle would make it to the Super Bowl. So he's already playing.
Wow.
He made that bet. So
Okay,
he's
so he should just sit it out then. I mean,
he can't help, you can't help yourself kind of thing.
yes, he's that guy. Okay,
He's bet both teams, leaning heavy on New England, but hedging with Seattle. So he's got that going for him. But anyway, you can see there's different. This makes for what I feel to be is a very good football game.
hopefully.
If you like to bet the money, you see the money on it. Like you said, big money's leaning on the Patriots because I think the Patriots. I think they like the money, Rich, because I think they like the cover. I think they like the number that Seattle won't cover it.
And you will say, I will say this: these teams are notoriously they don't play about every 4 years, but usually the games are close. And of course, the Super Bowl 49 was about as close as you can get.
Right.
1 yard line, Patriots up 4. Malcolm Butler says hello, and that game ends. So that kind of leans you to say maybe Patriots.
So that's the thing. If the Patriots, mind you, they're going to keep this game close. It's one of those things where going into halftime, you might catch me changing my mind. I mean, now you can't do that.
You can live bet. You can do that. You can change your mind.
Well, because if they go in at halftime and it's Seattle either tied or maybe behind a little bit, I can see that unraveling on Seattle quickly. Okay.
Okay.
More so than I see New England falling apart. I think if New England goes in the first half down 3 and down 1 score of any type, I think they're going to be like, okay, let's go figure out how to beat them now. We'll go ahead and do that, and we'll be fine. I think that's, and you're going to have Drake may get over the Super Bowl jitters in the first half. He'll come out in the second half, maybe a little different player. I just see it where that first going into that halftime, that 30-minute halftime as well.
Right. Bad Bunny.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, and you're gonna see Grammy Award-winning Bad Bunny, I should say, too, right?
Right.
I think you're gonna see some possibilities where I think the Patriots, if they're close and they're gonna make some changes, and it's gonna be an interesting second half. I'm looking forward to the game. As a fan, I'm really looking forward to the game.
I am too.
If I wanted Denver to win because I have my, I don't like anybody else in the AFC East but the Jets. Right. So but I was glad because I didn't want to see Denver walk in there with a busted up quarterback, and turn into a sort of a nightmarish potential game at that point. So anyway, I think it's going to be interesting. I think from the little bit of a survey that I've done here this afternoon, I think you're seeing it. It's kind of probably how the money is going elsewhere. It's how the type of bets you want to make, and everybody's gonna have fun with the prop bets.
Yeah.
What color Gatorade would you bet on?
I don't do that stuff. Come on.
Blue.
Give me blue. Well, I mean blue or green if you're looking at Seattle, and it's blue for the Patriots too. So I guess blue would be the overwhelming favorite. I guess if Seattle wins, it's green. I don't know.
Whatever one they grab, it's one that's going to get dumped on them. That's for sure.
Couple of other coaching notes. It looks like we're just about done now with hirings. The Cardinals are hiring Matt LaFleur's brother, Mike LaFleur, who was the offensive coordinator with the Rams. How many guys in this cycle have been coordinators who've been hired who actually don't call plays? That's totally Sean McVay there.
Mm-hmm.
And yet he's, the Cardinals say he's good enough to be their coach. Very interesting hire.
So I heard a little something today, trying to prep for our podcast today, and now they're saying that obviously this enormous amount of new coaches that are coming in, offensive new coaches, are coming from the Mike Shanahan tree.
Mm-hmm.
And you might even call it the Bill Walsh tree if you wanted to go back one step further. And I think it's not so much the play calling. I think it's the philosophy of how you play offense.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they're in the philosophy. They're seeing it firsthand. Arizona sure is. They're playing against two McVay and playing against what's his face, McVay and Shanahan and Kyle Shanahan. So there's, like I said, so you're seeing it out there. You're seeing LaFleur and Green Bay is doing well. There's a lot of guys that have come off this mindset of how to play offense, and it is proven out to be a winning proposition. Now it's going to be, you put the guy in place. Do you put the right quarterback and the right coaches around him and just see what happens? Not everybody can win every game, obviously, and philosophy only takes you so far. But I think they like the philosophy. At least it seems that way for the past couple of years.
And it sure sounds like the Raiders are going to wait till after the Super Bowl and jump on Clint Kubiak, the offensive coordinator with the Seattle Seahawks, to be their coach. Interesting choice there. Again, another if
Shanahan disciple.
Right, exactly. Couple of hires since we were last with you. Bills went with Joe Brady, the offensive coordinator. I thought that was a very interesting choice.
So I thought we might have mentioned Joe Brady before.
We did as a candidate,
right? I will say this, I have my I'm not a Josh Allen guy, right?
Right.
And now that you saw what happened when the ownership kind of had a very, I thought, silly press conference in regards to decision making and the firing of the coach, it almost seemed like it was like half baked. And now I think it was half baked. I think that this was, I'm not saying preordained, but I think that the first person they ran to after McDermott, maybe the first person they talked to before they fired McDermott, was Josh Allen. And Josh Allen probably sat back and said, I want Joe Brady. He's a play caller. He's been my play caller. We're doing great. Sean is in the way. He's not. We just get him out of here. And watching how it all evolved and to see Joe Brady get the job again, I think he's probably qualified for the job at this point. But I would say qualified for what reason? Because Josh Allen likes him. What head coaching job has he had up to this point? I thought he might go back to LSU at some point in time.
There's the lane train pulled in there.
Yeah, absolutely. But it just sits wrong with me a little bit. I just don't, again, I'm like, where does this? It just seems a little bit too convoluted. And how it happened and when it happened and who gets hired after the fact, who benefits the most, and who be the guy who'd want to have that scenario play out for him? The quarterback.
Well, I mean, he also was, good friends with the former OC and the former Giants coach, but apparently, they've decided to stay in house in Buffalo, and then Cleveland. You want to talk about making a left turn? Everybody thought it was going to be Jim Schwartz, the defensive coordinator. Turns out Todd Monken gets the job, and Jim Schwartz says, screw this, I'm out of here.
Oh, Schwartz is a hothead as it is anyway. I mean, he's always been a hothead, and he's had a very sort of tumultuous ride through the NFL. I mean, he's been a D coordinator probably 7 or 8 places at this point. He was an interim coach where he had some success. He was a head coach as well. I just don't know if he's. I mean, I would see where I might want to pass on him, but he's also a guy that he's got this Buddy Ryan sort of way about him that all the guys that play for him on defense absolutely love him. Mm-hmm. I'm hearing the same. I'm hearing that everybody on the defense in Cleveland.
Well, Myles Garrett loves him.
Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? But Todd Monken, interesting how his path to Cleveland happened.
Yes.
In the pros, goes back to college, has success just about everywhere he goes. His brother probably gets more publicity than he does because his brother's the head coach at Army, and
Yes.
he's done a fantastic job at the academy.
Yep.
But Todd Monken, I mean, if Cleveland thinks they got the defense, they didn't get a coordinator in there, Monken might be the guy to turn around. But I also thought that about Stefanski, who was supposed to be an offensive savant, and it didn't quite work out for him because what they're giving him to work with.
I was going to say, wait a minute now.
Yeah.
Although Shedeur is a Pro Bowler, so
yes.
There's that.
Right.
Anyway,
and it's funny you say that because somebody said that Monken did make some comment about, hey, when he was with the Ravens, they were thinking about getting Shedeur. That was he wanted to get him in as a project or a backup or whatever you want to call it. So we'll see. We'll see. No matter what happens, it's a tough road for Cleveland.
Yeah,
the division they're in.
Division, yep.
Absolutely, it's tough.
Ravens are going to be better. Steelers, Bengals, if they ever find a defense for Joe Burrow.
And now I'm hearing rumors now also that there's rumors that Cincinnati might listen to somebody about an offer for Joe Burrow. So I mean, you hear things. I got people that I speak to from I'm from the when I was up there, this sports radio guy said this, that sport. So you're hearing little things because I think so. There's some folks that look at Cincinnati and say, I think we may have wasted some of Joe Burrow's best years. And how do we keep this team together when everybody in the offense wants gajillions of dollars? So what do you do at some point in time? You got to figure things out. There's the windows in the NFL are much shorter than they were before.
Absolutely.
The Patriots had a bunch of short windows, like 12, but nonetheless, I think you've got to think about turnover. I mean, that's why, Belichick, and I know we'll talk about him as well. It's a little bit as well, but Belichick's my opinion, first ballot Hall of Famer. Should never have been a question as to that being the case. But what Belichick did well was he knew when your usefulness was coming up. You were still useful, but not forever. And he would take guys and say, bye. Another guy, bye. Take it. He was always sort of moving people out. And when it came time to move Tom out, Tom ran to Daddy and told Daddy on and said, he's trying to get rid of me. And we're not doing that, right? And they said, no, we're not. And so with that, but that's how Belichick kept it going.
Right.
So I think there's something to be said about that in the NFL. If you can keep right now, the team that does it the best is Kansas City.
Yes,
they do it well.
Andy Reid's, getting long in the tooth. So
absolutely, and
their window may be closing.
100%. But they have managed to keep things together, some key pieces, and bringing guys in and out. So I think that's a very important thing. So maybe Cincinnati's thinking that way. Who knows? Be interesting if that happened and start putting Joe Burrow out there. Wow, there would be some hell of an offers going that way. I can imagine it.
Can you see him in green?
I could, but and I think the idea would be that what I like about him is what I did like him. I like him in the pros more than I didn't like him in the college. I thought in college he was a little bit too slick, if you want to call it that. It was like. Right. There was an element of like, what's he really, what's going on with him? But if you're going to be successful in New York City, you've got to be able to handle a lot of things coming at you, press, whatnot. He looks like the guy who could sort of manage it to me. He would be like, okay, know when the press conference is over, don't take the bait, whatever it may be. So we'll see.
Mighty Dog piping in big time here.
Yes, Maybe he's a Joe Burrow fan. I don't know.
Yeah, he might be. We'll have to wait and see. All right, one more football note. Actually, college football note came down about an hour and a half, 2 hours ago. The Gus Bus pulled out of Tallahassee. Gus Malzahn is retired.
Yes, he's done. The Gus Bus is on the way out. Yep.
Yes. 35-year career. I would think, listening to a lot of Florida State stuff over the off season, might not have been his choice.
Yeah.
They're trying to save a little money, trying to get monies together, maybe to get rid of Mike Norvell after next year. Who knows? But nonetheless, the Florida State Seminoles are now looking for an OC.
So everything that's wrong with Florida State right now, Rich, is money related.
Mm-hmm.
It started with Jimbo.
Mm-hmm.
It kept going with Willie Taggart. The money that's been good, that's been just gone out. That they don't have the fan base or the booster base to really kind of to withstand that many mistakes on the hiring, the coaches side of things. Norvell, I think he's a good person. I think he's a good human being. But every game I see him coach, he looks like he's absolutely scared out of his mind. Gets those big eyes about this big, and he looks like he's just like, what's going to happen here? I think he's recruited horribly. Probably the worst recruiter I've ever seen at Florida State. I mean, there's the year that he went 12-0. God, fool's gold. What that was all Porter related. Which again, however you got to do it, I understand that. But it was fool's gold. There was nobody left when they all left, and it's been a struggle ever since then. I thought, and it's funny you say about how Malzahn's being asked to leave. I thought he was brought in because they forced him on Norvell to say, hey, this is your guy. We're getting him from UCF, and let him do what he needs to do. And I think whatever they paid him, they're like not seeing any return on their investment. I thought last year,
I think it was making $3 million, if I'm not mistaken.
Sure. Why would he? I would see that. But I think everybody thought because Thomas Castellanos was recruited by Gus Malzahn that was going to be some match made in heaven. Look, when you're barely cutting it at Boston College and you have an attitude about it and you leave like with your middle finger up and you go someplace else. Granted, he had one great game where he played. Alabama was not prepared at all in that game. But other than that, it was every bit as bad as any other quarterback that played the last couple of years, and they've had quite a few. So interesting to see what happens. I'm sure they're going to stick somebody in that position, but to me right now, it might, if you looked at all the schools, Miami, USF were at the cream of the crop in this state of Florida, followed by UCF. And then Florida State and Florida kind of in the same boat together, although Florida had beat him twice. Now I think it's Florida State on a sinking ship and others moving up. And I don't see it getting any better for Florida State in the very near future.
Interesting thoughts there. All right, 941 Sports Zone. We continue on. Again, Mighty Dog Roofing of Southwest Florida. The Mighty Dog's been quite vocal lately. 941-251-4257 is the number. 941-251-4257.
Maybe he's telling you to get the snow off the roof because that's what that maybe he's got some reason behind his.
Well, there's definitely snow on the roof, and they got, when it starts, you've had snow on the roof for over a week, and all of a sudden it warms up like it has today, warms up relative term mid-30s.
Right.
Those long icicles come down off the side. Got plenty of those here.
Yep.
In beautiful Saugus, Massachusetts. Hey, let's move over to golf. We'll talk a lot of golf on this podcast because you and I both enjoy the sport, and
absolutely.
There's been a lot of volatility in the last couple of months when it comes to the PGA Tour and LIV. We had the Brooks Koepka. He was given the olive branch. He took it. He actually played in the Farmers. He finished tied for 56th, I believe.
Yes.
At least he made the cut. So he's on his way going. But an announcement late last week kind of was very interesting. Patrick Reed, listen, I guess he's the guy that wears the black hat. All right.
And he likes it.
Yeah, he does. He likes it a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But let's also be real. When you get into President's Cups and Ryder Cups, you want that guy on your team.
Absolutely.
Of course, he wasn't because he was with LIV. Well, he's decided to come back to the PGA. He announced he was a free agent right before he won his first DP World Tour event last week, and then decided to come back. And he finished in a playoff this week. He's playing tremendous golf right now. Um, he's not supposed to come back to the tour officially until August 25th. However, I can see many, many, many sponsored exemptions. If I was a tournament, I would give him an extension in 5 seconds.
Right.
So,
yeah,
I'm sorry, an exception.
I know what you're saying. No. And Patrick Reed, this is Brooks Koepka leaving was ceremonially like the big story. Okay, because you see, like, hey, Brooks is back. You knew that Koepka did what he did because he thought he had an injury that was not going to be recoverable. Okay, and so Koepka decided, like, hey, you know what? I'm going to go take the money and run. I can do limited events. And next, he goes he's flying all over the world. He's playing more tournaments than he expected to play, I'm sure, because that everybody got in the same boat. And he's like, what am I doing? And he's a guy who likes competition. Okay, that's why he's got more major wins than he has regular tour wins. Right. So you see how Koepka is. Patrick Reed is a different dude. He doesn't have the sort of the pedigree or the high or the outstanding resume like Koepka does. So his pathway is the harder pathway. It's not the olive branch that they handed out to 5 guys that were qualified. It was because Koepka, I think Rahm, I want to say Cam Smith. I know this, but yeah, DeChambeau. So they all, because they won majors at a certain period of time, they were going to be able to come back and work their way through it. Okay, they can't play in the tour championship, or they can, but they can't get the money. There's like the whole bunch of things like that, right? But this one's harder. He can't, like I said, he can't come back to August. So he's basically going to go out there and just knock on doors and say, I got a golf bag and I got my game with me and my caddy. Can I play? And he's already put himself in the top of the DP World Tour. Okay. He's sat there. He can play that as much as he wants to get himself right, go out and be ready for the majors, but he likes competition too. Okay. Yep. So Koepka likes competition. Reed likes competition. Now Kevin Na is going to come back, and he's a guy you watched him play over the years. He's a grinder. Forgetting the third guy that came out in this. Well, he's also doing, and they're following the Patrick Reed deal. And who stays behind? Who resigns? Dustin Johnson, who doesn't not care about winning. He's admitted that over and over again. He's just it's a paycheck to him, and it's an easy paycheck. And I'm sure he can throw a number up there anytime he wants and do whatever, but he doesn't really want to. So the guys with competitive juices, okay, they're going to see this pathway back, and they're going to look, and they do want to play against the best players. They don't want to play team golf. You play team golf with your buddies. It's a lot of fun, Rich. I play team golf all the time with my friends. It's a lot of fun. Okay. Spending a couple beers. It's a great time, right? Not when you're that guy. You're the top. You are the top 50 guy in the world, and now you're ranked 500 and whatever, and nobody watches you. I don't care if David Feherty is announcing the thing. I don't care if it's got fancy graphics. I don't care what it is. They're playing Ozzy Osbourne on the 15th hole. It doesn't make a difference. It's not the best players. It's not the best golf courses. I would be in Phoenix right now, just because of the golf course. Okay, right. That's what Pebble Beach is coming up. Where they just played Torrey Pines. How beautiful of a setting is that, right? On a U.S. Open grade golf course. The guys are watching this, and we're all watching, and they're saying, when are they going to figure it out? They didn't buy into a better deal. They're watching these guys play indoor TGL golf, and it's getting ratings out the wazoo, and they're having a great time. There's your live golf. You want to go have some fun? Go do the TGL. Go get a franchise or whatever it may be, and go play golf inside, which is a whole nother thing. I just think that you're going to see. This is the beginning of the end for LIV. Okay. Now, the beginning of the end, they might live. No pun intended, but they might keep going, Rich, for 20 more years. Who knows? But it's not going to be as a competitor or equal to the PGA Tour. And
Mhm.
kudos to the players when their damn commissioner decided to sell them out after he banged on it. What a wishy-washy fool that man was.
Mhm.
I'm not no, never coming back. And next thing you know, he's on CNBC announcing some kumbaya session he had with him, and it's all going to be good because he got talked into it by a bunch of investors from the other side of the state of Florida, who all they do is talk to the Saudis. They're making deals with the Saudis all the time, just selling everybody out on the road. And some of these guys hung tough and said, we're not doing it. We are the PGA Tour. The players are. And they stormed out on his ass, and they left him twisted in the wind. And then what do you know? Finally, they figured out, hey, we broke them. I think they were broken last year. And so now you see where it's going to go. And I think it's going to be an anomaly. It'll listen, they can say all they want that they're going to make a bunch of money off of it, and everybody in Australia loves it, and who the hell else does. Great. Go do it. If you think it's where it's worth, then you go do that tour. Go have fun with it. Make it a little different. I've said all along what it should be is the send off to all the guys over 45 that still can play, and they can go get a nice 5-year around the world cruise for money for like a consolation prize kind of situation, and go out there and win a few tournaments and play some fun golf, but not competitively speaking, not to go one-on-one with the PGA. Not going to happen.
So as we record this on Monday, today's the deadline for the other 3 golfers, for DeChambeau, Rahm, and Smith. DeChambeau and Rahm have said they're going to play one more year. I think they're just going to play out their contracts basically.
Right.
And I would be shocked if they don't show up next year on the PGA Tour. Cam Smith hasn't said anything. So be interested to see. But like you said, with the amount of defections, and everybody's willing to pay the piper and go by the rules and pay their fines. I think the dam has shown some holes here, and it may very well be just about to break.
I'm going to use DeChambeau. I know that contracts and whatnot. I get all that. I was surprised that he didn't jump on it. What about you? Because he seems to be the one who's had the most success.
I'm almost certain they threw him more money quietly, because once they lose him, they're done. He is literally the guy.
He's the validator.
The guy. He's the validator. Absolutely. Yeah. Not Rahm.
No.
And I'm surprised that Rahm didn't come, because he looks miserable.
You know what it is? So I think what happened with Jon Rahm is that he got Sergio'd. I think that a lot of the Spanish players had jumped ship. Again, and it was kind of a weird deal. I think Sergio has always been sort of like a little bit with the chip on his shoulder. He should have won more majors. He came out in the Tiger era, and Tiger just ran him over and left him in a smoke screen behind him. And I think that people got in Rahm's ear is what I think. And that's to me that's why he made a decision. And I think that he's sort of like, well, I made my decision. I'm not going to turn away from it. But who knows? He played okay in the majors last year. I think he had some times where he was in contention a little bit, right. But I think that he made the biggest mistake, I think, because he wasn't in the first wave. He was in the second wave.
Right.
He had time to figure it out and watch what it was. And if he thought it was going well, boy, his judgment is terrible. That's why I think I think he was coaxed a little bit. I think they said, come on over here. We need you. You're the piece of the puzzle that's going to take us over the top. And he got sold a bill of shit. And now he's stuck in it right now.
Yeah. Well, like I said, his contract, I believe, is up next year, and I would be stunned if he's not back. So the golf season continues. You mentioned it, Waste Management this week. You've got Pebble out there. LA. I don't think they played LA yet.
No, they got to finish that with that.
And then they head to Florida.
Yeah, Pebble. I want to say Pebble. I think you're right. I think the Riviera, and I think they start heading east.
Yes.
By the way, before we forget, also, how about 45-year-old Justin Rose going wire to wire on a course that is built to kill you, and he was just throwing darts. Hats off to him. And he's been due, man. He had a couple of times last year where I thought he was going to win and didn't quite get it, but boy, he's done some unbelievable stuff the last couple of years, and hopefully he keeps riding it out right till he hits the senior tour.
He looked at Tiger. He looked at Tiger when he was playing. Forget the rest of the field. I want to run down Tiger. I think Tiger, did he break Tiger's record?
He did. He did.
So that was his, basically at the end of the tournament, he was 6-7 shots ahead. He was playing a ghost basically, and he ended up winning. Good for him. No,
and again, he's always been a good ball striker. But he
occasionally.
Yeah, and he got really wonky for about 5 or 6 years, where he was still on the tour, mind you, but he was living, on the edge, where he was a top 10 was a big victory for him at that point. Now he's a guy you got to look at moving forward, that he's going to be a major player, in the majors. Yeah. So let's see what happens.
And he had a couple of decent majors last year as well.
Runner up to Rory.
Yep.
So he might be the betting odds the way he keeps on playing. Of course, Scotty's going to come out this week and do what he does. So we'll see. But I think you'll see a lot of money ride on Justin Rose.
All right. So the 941 Sports Zone rolls on. Brought to you by Mighty Dog Roofing of Southwest Florida. 941-251-4257 is the number. 941-251-4257. Australian Open. This is a tournament that I really like. For one thing, I get up in the middle of the night.
It's on.
Take care of my business, and it's on live.
Yeah.
So I thoroughly enjoyed it. This year, maybe more than ever, because a lot of the real good tennis players went very deep. Djokovic was fortunate. Let's be honest. You have a walkover in another match where you're down 2 sets, and the guy you're playing has to retire. Musetti of Italy certainly benefited from that. Alcaraz had a tough 5-set match, got through it, fought the cramps and everything. And then Alcaraz and Djokovic in the final. Djokovic came out like a house of fire. But it's really, for a kid, and John McEnroe brought this up several times during the broadcast, for a kid that's 22 years old, he is so cerebral. He knew exactly what he needed to do. He needed to wear him out.
Right.
And slowly but surely, he wore him out to the point where at the end of the match, they had a 26 shot point at the beginning of the final, what turned out to be the final game. It was 6-5. And right at that point, I remember looking at my TV and going, Joker's done. Joker's done. I mean, he's given everything he's got. Congratulations to Alcaraz. 7 majors already at 22 years, 272 days old. Career Grand Slam already. Sky's the limit for this guy.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. And he's got that. The kind of tennis player that is relentless.
Yes.
Sometimes in days gone by, it's guys who can lobby well. There's guys, lob well. You know what I'm saying? Not volley well. Now I'm saying lobby. Volley well. Guys that have big serves. Guys, he'll play 6-hour matches. That's what he's going to do. Mm-hmm. And at some point, then you're like, how do you maintain that? So physically, I think he's going to be a very, very difficult guy to beat over the next maybe 10 years.
I'm glad you brought that up, because the other guy that he's basically fighting with for 1 versus 2 is Jannik Sinner. Okay. Mm-hmm. And he's done very well the last couple of years, but it should be noted, he lost to Djokovic in 5 sets. And whereas Alcaraz seems like every time he gets to a 5th set, he wins, Sinner is 4-11 in 5-set matches.
Right.
And he wilted. He was up 2-1 against Djokovic, and Djokovic outlasted him. He's got to get tougher and more physically fit.
And that's what happens. And usually you see those guys when they first break out, they do well on the hard court game. They play that slamming around, and get to balls, but you don't think they can get to them, and they just have these long rallies. It's really, it's unbelievable some of the at the high level. But he's a guy who looks like he kind of, to me, I thought that when I first saw him, I'm like, this guy's built for Wimbledon. The way he played. But he's shown me that he's got every game, anytime, all the time, just gets to balls he shouldn't get to, and he makes shots, and he's gonna cut your heart out. That's what he does. He cuts your heart out.
And it was very good to see Rafa Nadal be in attendance for that. Djokovic after the match kind of joked, Rafa, I appreciate you coming, but it was basically 2 against 1, 2 Spaniards against me. I had no chance.
Well, I was going to even say this before. Now you've said it. He reminds me of Nadal.
Mm-hmm. Relentless. You're absolutely right.
He's a Nadal. He's just like Nadal. There's no doubt about it.
On the ladies' side, we might have a little bit of a changing of the guard. Elena Rybakina upset top seed Sabalenka in 3 sets. She was actually down 3-love in the third.
Right.
And came roaring back and won 6-4. She won 6 of the last 7 games. Another tremendous, the 2 best players. Sorry, Jessica Pegula, who got all the way to the semis yet again. The daughter of the Bills owner, but just couldn't get over the top. I'll tell you what, the tennis game now, one thing you do notice in all this we're talking about, I talked about Jess, she got to the semis, but really not many Americans.
No. And especially
they had 8 get to the quarters, but nobody got to the finals.
Tennis has become an international sport, much more so than, I don't want to compare them to soccer, but it's getting there. Okay. Where you see that tennis is taking a little, you don't see the generations of like that are taking up tennis. I have a bunch of friends or people that I know that are younger than me with younger kids. I don't know one of them, not one of them that plays tennis. None. Okay. The most of those, if you're going to put a kid into a sport off the bat, right now it's soccer that I see first. But you know what I see a lot of now, Rich? Golf.
Yeah.
A lot more golf than tennis. A lot more. And I'm talking little kids going at the driving range, hitting golf balls, putting balls, whatever it may be. And I'm not sure that even the parents are having them play golf because they expect them to be on the tour someday or even in college golf. But I think they're teaching them a game that they can play the rest of their lives because that's what they do. And the accessibility to golf has become much greater, not from a facility perspective, from all that they've turned golf for kids into a team sport as well. You see the kids show up and they've got purple jerseys, looks like a flag football team going out, and they're all going out and playing golf. And there's something to that. And plus you see it on TV. Golf is it eats up the weekend during the day as more than the NFL does. You think the amount of weeks they play golf. So you turn on the golf at 2 o'clock to 6, it's on the TV all day. And you can listen, when the weather's nice, what do? Turn the golf on in the inside and the outside. You're barbecuing outside. Somebody says you just missed a great shot. You walk in and sit there. You watch the last 4 holes. It's a very easy way to do things. It's even how you watch the game live. You go from the 8th hole to the 6th hole and do that kind of stuff. So young kids are not playing the game of tennis. They're playing the game of golf, and they're playing soccer and outside of the bigger sports. So I don't know where American tennis is. I don't know if you need to have an army of them, but you got to have some competitiveness moving forward in order to get to that next level.
I totally agree. And at least they kept it interesting up till the semis if you're an American. But to me, I don't care what country you're from. If you're a good tennis player, you're a great tennis player. You're a great tennis player. I love watching Alcaraz because again, he's cerebral, and I love the way. He'll hit you with a blistering forehand passing shot, and the next time he'll hit you with a drop shot, and he just keeps moving you all over the place. I just thoroughly enjoy it. All right, a couple more things before we get on out of here. We haven't talked much NBA because, the season basically doesn't start till Christmas. And there are some decent games going on now, but everybody's played roughly 50 games of an 82 game schedule. The trade deadline is coming up this Thursday at 3 p.m. and apparently there's a big nugget out there. Giannis, and I'm not going to try to say his name, but from Milwaukee, he's got a title, and Milwaukee's basically been tearing it down. Originally, he was like Knicks or nothing, and now it's I'll take whatever.
I think Miami's been hot, maybe a spot for him to go to.
I just don't know if I'm Milwaukee, I'm not going to force it. I mean,
no.
If he plays till the end of the season, the problem is he won't play. They'll shut him down,
right?
Because they don't want to have that investment going,
right?
So,
the Knicks, everybody's got that with the Knicks.
Yeah, everybody.
He had mentioned Knicks. The Knicks thing is like, if you get him, you got to. What are they going to get? Going to get rid of Karl Anthony Towns? Something along those lines. Like, there's got to be a nugget going one way or the other. Draft picks, whatever it is. And is his style going to fit what the Knicks do? Right. I mean, is that the case? I don't know, but if I could get a guy of that caliber. And I was close last year, as close as they've ever been in the last 20 years or more. Maybe I'd take a risk. Maybe I'd take a jump at him and see what happens. You're not going to give away Brunson. You're not going to give away Hart. You're not going to give away. You're going to the guy on and by the way, Towns is a good player. He's a very good player. A little awkward, but he's a little bit more of an outside in guy than an inside out guy. But nonetheless,
and
I think
defense is in.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And if Milwaukee's looking to get rid of salary and get rid of Giannis, why wouldn't they just not get him to New York and get something for him and then just start the process now? But who's to say? You're right. He may end up just being a guy that sits home all summer and waits to see where he lands and what happens. But we'll see. As far as basketball is concerned, NBA is my opinion right now. The NBA is NBA is a lot of marketing. I don't know how you feel the same way. Market. Try to make.
They're not marketing us. They're marketing like my son, who's 16.
Right.
They're marketing 20 and 30-year-olds. No question about it.
Right. It's a culture. It's got that a young vibe to it. I think it's a bad thing in some ways, but boy, the betting on the NBA with young people is out of control. It's nuts, and I get asked questions all the time. What do you think about tonight's game? I'm like, I don't even know. Don't even ask me that. I have no idea what that would be. But they make bets like so-and-so is going to have 9 rebounds and this and that. It's
points, assists, and rebounds. It's called PAR, points, assists, and rebounds. If you can add it all up, and you can do a lot of player props that way, which is something the league is really trying to crack down on, because it seems to be that's where a lot of the, and I'm going to put it in air quotes, cheating happens.
Well, they have to take a game off of the. They said off the betting line because there was abnormal bets made in regards to a certain prop bet that was out there. So so my point is with the NBA, a lot of marketing being done. I like the way NBC has packaged the NBA right now. I think it's a smart move. Good teams. They brought
nice doubleheader last night. Lakers, Knicks.
Absolutely. I was watching a little bit.
Thunder and Nuggets. I mean, 4 of the best teams. Well, I think the Lakers are fool's gold, but certainly 3 of the best teams in the league.
Right. No doubt about it. But I will say this, there's enough interested right now with they've marketed it and done some things that going forward, if the right teams are in the playoffs, I'm a fan. I'll be watching. It's and again it's and I think that they've sort of made it. The game itself being more offensive has cleaned up some of the junk that the league had.
Agreed.
And I think that they're not. There's been guys that have, like John Morant, certain guys that have had some off the court issues who they're not playing around with anymore. There's like, look, there's the next guy up. I will say this: we talk about the portal in college football, how it's affecting teams. I think the fact that the NCAA, they have one and done guys, and there's G leagues and there's D leagues and there's all the other leagues all over the place, right? And so when you watch a game, an NBA game, and you and I sit down, and I would consider us pretty high level sports guys as far as knowing our way around what's going on, that I can sit down and 2 out of the five guys on the starting five for anybody, I'd be like, who the hell is that?
Yep.
You know what I mean? You don't know.
Right.
You don't, sometimes you just don't know who it is. And you're like, oh, okay, well, he was what? Because there's no opportunity to find them as a fan. A guy who's a great shooting guard. Okay, it just popped into my head, but when Danny Ainge played at BYU, okay.
Yep.
Obscurity, right? But he
Mhm.
has a run through the NCAA as a senior that he makes it. And so when he gets drafted, like, oh, I saw Danny Ainge, okay.
Right.
And now I think the last guy that became a superstar that was sort of in obscurity and came out and you knew who he was Curry.
Yeah, Steph with Davidson.
Steph Curry.
Yep.
He's at Davidson. He went to the Elite Eight. I remember that, right? Because I remember watching him. And like, this guy can shoot it from outside, from everywhere.
Yep.
You don't know about these guys until Jay Billis tells you about it on the week before the draft. I'm like, who the hell is he talking about? I watch college basketball all day, and I've never seen this guy. I never heard of him. And so it's like that's the kind of thing that's sort of happened into the NBA. You don't know the players, and it's hard to. Sometimes it's hard to invest a lot in it if you don't. And if it's a good team, it's
here's the other thing. If say I live in Boston. Say OKC comes to town, and you're not sure that Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is going to play. Well, why do you want to outlay that kind of money? I mean, LeBron, another perfect example. LeBron, he's always going to play in Cleveland, and he played in New York. But if they go to Brooklyn, is he going to play? No. Probably not.
No.
And so you can't really outlay the money before you get. Usually, most of the NBA gets you buy tickets late when you actually know somebody's going to be playing. By the way, I got to give a shout out. Okay. Go back to college for just a second. Shout out to the Gators basketball fans. I don't know if you watched any of that game yesterday against Alabama.
I did.
I absolutely loved it. What is going on right now in college basketball is nothing short of stupid. Okay. Right. You're playing in the G League, and now all of a sudden you want to go back to school, and you go to Alabama, and Todd Golden, to his credit, the head coach, basically said he can play, he could not play. I don't really care. We're gonna kick their ass anyway. And they did. And every time he got touched the ball, G League drop.
Yeah.
G League dropout. I thought it was fantastic. I give it up to the Gator Maniacs. What are you guys called over there?
The Rowdy Reptiles.
Rowdy Reptiles. Oh, they brought it yesterday. I thought it was fan-freaking-tastic. So
and a game where they I don't know what you're going to get from Florida, but they could be they're a Final Four talented. I don't know if they're going to blow a game though, because their backcourt is atrocious ball handling wise.
Well, it's much better than it was at the start of the season. I'll give you that. Certainly, Todd's done a nice job with them.
He's an
excellent coach. They're 7-2 in the league. Yeah.
Yep. Todd Golden saved Scott Strickland's job.
Yep.
Because he had no good hires to that point, and Golden comes in there and he's a basketball junkie. He looks like a nerd.
Yep.
But he's a good basketball
nerd though. He's very strong.
And he comes from the Bruce Pearl school of basketball, so he's got a little bit. He's a little probably a bit, maybe a little shady. I don't know what to say that in a nice way, but he does a nice job, and they play hard. And that front court, my goodness. And Chinyalu yesterday, I've yet to see an arena this year, an arena and an announcing team that was more excited about how Chinyalu was playing defense than he was doing anything else. Because
he was on the call. He loves defense.
Oh, here's a 6'9" guy who is guarding the point guard, and then switched off on the other guy, and they couldn't get a shot off. And it was funny what they said, because how everything goes back to football. The guy, they said either he's going to be a number one draft pick in the NBA or a number one draft pick in the NFL, because his feet as a 6'9" guy at left tackle There's got to be, right? They said they got to be drooling over him right now, thinking they put 20 pounds on this guy. There's never going to get it. They're never going to get around it with that footwork. He was ridiculous.
Yep.
And he almost had a 20-20 the other night. So he's a dude. And then you got 7 foot, 6'11", 6'9", 7'2", 7'9".
Yeah.
Yeah,
They got a little size. They got a little size. They get if they get some guards, look out. I mean, they could make another serious run.
I think the one piece, if they can get the kid Lee to figure out his game, are you a stationary shooter? Because you're not a penetrator. He gets lost. He needs to come off screens and hit shots. If he can do that, look out. They'll be tough.
By the way, my son is in the chat room.
Okay.
And just a couple of things. And again, he's 16. Okay. He's
right.
Taken up the NBA in the last couple of years, and he's very, very passionate about it. But he says, I hate the lack of defense and also how nobody cares to the last 40 games.
Right.
And this is where they're marketing to. Okay?
Right.
And he says it's too offensive now, though defense isn't ever glorified. It kind of stinks that people can shoot shots like Luka, chuck up shots like Luka, but still be glorified as a fantastic player. He couldn't guard me. He didn't say that, but I said that.
Right.
The defense just doesn't get enough.
And they wonder why they don't win championships. Okay. Right. And then you have our boy in Denver, Doc.
Oh, Jokic, who came back, by the way.
Yeah.
Came back early, and he's eligible to be MVP. That's not an accident, by the way.
So they're saying, how is he a 3-time MVP or potentially whatever it may be? All the different things. Watch the guy play basketball.
Yes.
It is so much fun to watch. Okay. He is one-handed, tip passes, offensive rebounds, point guard, name it. He's not coming down. He's not trying to break you down with, 8 crossovers and you're carrying the ball. We all know that. You need a 3, he'll throw up a 3.
Yeah.
You need him down. When you watch the guy play, he is the best player in the NBA. You can't argue it. He is the best player in the NBA.
Yeah. And the reason, like one year when Embiid won it, really?
Yeah.
That was totally, we're tired of him winning it. So we're 100%
what it was. And
yeah.
And they even said it on ESPN. They were saying he's getting it because of there was a racial connotations of the whole thing. I'm like, really? Come on, really?
So I liken him to Tim Duncan, but he has better range.
Absolutely.
Fundamentally, just does everything on the court.
Absolutely
but
right.
He can also, like you said, he also pops out and shoots the 3. And you're not like, oh my God, what is he doing? You're like, oh, that's going in.
But he makes passes like Magic Johnson used to make passes.
Yeah.
He's not looking, it's just over his head. I mean, there's some stuff that you're just like, you're jaw dropping. He is phenomenal to watch. I'll watch him anytime and Steph Curry anytime.
Yeah, my son is he's Steph Curry all the way. Yeah. It's going to be a shame. But you know what? He's going to pick up golf clubs when he's done.
He sure
He
is.
is a damn good golfer.
Yep.
Damn good.
No
All
doubt
right,
about it.
locks of the week. I kind of feel bad. I went back and listened to last week's show, and it's almost like I goaded you in the laying the points.
No, I expected to lay the points, and I watched that game. Good game. I thought Michigan played sloppy, and actually this
made with their food. Absolutely.
A little bit of what I have for my bugging me will come out with about that game a little bit. But no, I thought Michigan was going to. I didn't think Nebraska was as good as they were. The one kid, Stanford, his name was, or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
That guy can shoot.
Yeah.
That guy was he was hitting threes, he was turnaround jumper threes. He was doing everything. So Nebraska's legit. I wasn't sure if they were, and they're a legit basketball team. They're an Elite Eight team if they can keep it healthy.
Well, they stumbled against Illinois at home yesterday, which I thought was interesting. But they also are playing without a couple of their better players.
Right, they're injured right now.
That's
some injuries.
That's a big thing. Of course, I hit Arizona on Monday night. So I'm 11-8. You're 12-7. Your heater is over, but I'm sure you'll get right back on the horse again. I'm going to go first.
Go ahead.
I'm going to go with a prop. and I like it a lot. Kenneth Walker Jr.'s over under for the Super Bowl rushing yards is 72.5. Under.
Okay. Rich, can you hear me? I can't hear you. You're muted. Well, I'm here. I'm sure Rich will be back here in a few minutes, but while I'm here, I will do my locks of the week, or my lock of the week, which is going to be golf oriented. I'm going to go ahead and pick Scotty Scheffler to finish in the top 5 of this week's Waste Management Phoenix Open. Going golf, I'm staying away from the football. I do like Seattle to win the game on Sunday, so I will take Scheffler top 5 finish. In the Phoenix Open, Waste Management Phoenix Open. As far as my what's bugging me, I will give you this right now. I am getting a little tired of poor guard play in all of basketball. Everybody plays very out of control. I watched that Nebraska Michigan game and watched the point guard on the Michigan just make bad play after bad play after bad play, and really kind of kept it closer than it could have been or should have been. I see that quite a bit, and I just think that as the point guard, you shouldn't be the guy leading the team in turnovers. You should be the guy who's making the assists. And I don't see it too often. I think now they want to break you down and get their own shot, or they want to penetrate under the basket and have nowhere to go with the ball. It makes no sense to me whatsoever. So that's what's bugging me. And I will have the reason I'm going to cut it short here is because I have another sort of what's bugging me. And I think it's kind of obvious once I tell you what it is. I am not a New England Patriot fan by any stretch of the imagination, nor was I a fan of Bill Belichick when he was at New England. I thought that Spygate and Deflategate were things that got kind of sort of pushed to the side, and it shouldn't have been pushed to the side from their perspective, not from everybody else's, but they thought it was no big deal. So you're back.
I think so. Can you hear me?
Yes, you are. Yeah. By the way, so just so you know, I was doing it by myself.
Yes, I heard you.
Okay, you did.
I could hear you the whole time. For some reason, you just went. I'm not getting any feedback in my headphones, but that's okay.
Yeah. So good. Anyway,
you're stealing my what's bugging me, by the way.
Yeah. So my lock of the week was Scotty top 5 finish in Phoenix in the Waste Open.
Did mine come through the Kenneth Walker's under 70?
Okay, and that's when it stopped right there. Coming to me, I think is what happened. And then I mentioned poor guard play that's bugging me. It just seems like at all levels, it's just out of control. I even catch some high school games, like these showcase games. I'm like, I'll watch and see what's going on. It's just get under the basket, and what are you going to do? You run out of room. If you're the fastest guy down court, I don't get it. But I was bleeding into is that I mentioned that I'm not a Belichick fan. I wasn't a fan of what happened, but I think it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Whatever it was, if he had a million different tapes on somebody, I think it didn't make that much difference. Nor did the Deflategate make difference. I just hated the way they reacted to it. Like it would be like it's like if you were like took a piece of candy that was in a communal bowl somewhere, and somebody said, "Oh, you like the candy?" I didn't take the candy. What is that I'm taking candy for? It was kind of stupid like that. I didn't get it.
Right.
So anyway, I think that Belichick not getting it on the first ballot is travesty. I think they should pull some.
That was my bugging me. So we'll just kind of put it together. It's so ridiculous. And I heard, and I guess they've got to change the whole process because somebody who actually didn't vote for him did a pretty lengthy interview on Sirius XM over the weekend. And his reasoning is sound because I guess there were a couple of guys in the Veterans Committee, as well as, guys that had been on the ballot, that if he didn't vote for them, they would never get in because apparently they were either coming off the ballot or, it was a very reasonable take. And he's like, Belichick's going to get in next year. And he's like, I'm shocked he didn't get in this year.
Right.
But, it's just, you got to fix the voting because obviously something is really wrong. If you have to, you have to choose between him and somebody like, I think it was Roger Craig was one of them. Which I was shocked that Roger Craig's not in the Hall of Fame.
No, there's guys that you say to yourself, that's what I'm saying. Some of these voters over the years, they take things for granted. No, you need to vote on the right guys. You need. I think that. I mean, I'm not putting myself in anybody's brain, but don't make it personal.
Right.
You can't make it personal. When somebody's got those kind of credentials, don't make it personal. It's not. You're a fan. We're all fans, right?
Right. Yes.
But the other guy, the other team, whoever else it is, they're trying to win like you're trying to win. Okay.
Correct.
And not everybody can win. And it's sometimes it's hard to swallow and you have to admit that. But when somebody does well and is a good and they deserve their flowers, they deserve the opportunity to be recognized, not to be dismissed because you have some personal reasons why. It shouldn't be that way. And if that's the way you think, you don't belong. And there's plenty of people say, I don't want to be that way, then don't be on the damn Hall of Fame committee. Don't be on it then.
Totally agree.
I was
We're on the same one. No big deal. It's all right. All right, that'll do it for this edition of the 941 Sports.
Oh, you were Belichick was your one too?
Yeah, I told you.
Okay.
You stole my belt. What's bugging me? You had two. And you had to take mine. Really appreciate it. Thanks. Anyway.
Oh, that's hysterical. I'm like, I thought you just brought it up because I brought it.
No, not at all. But that's okay. It's all right.
Hey, you know what? I got a topic for you next week for what's bugging you. Is when your radio and your podcast partner takes your idea and runs with it before you can have it.
Oh, John, I wouldn't do that to you.
Oh, it's all right. I can take it. I'm sure my ex-wife would tell you I run my mouth too much too.
Yeah. Pot, kettle, pot. Anyway.
Well, don't remember my other partner. I have to do a lot of talking because with him, so it's a little different for me.
Yes. Although he's definitely loosened up over the years for sure.
Better believe it.
All right, that'll do it for this edition of the 941 Sports Zone. Enjoy the Super Bowl, everybody. We'll be back next Monday to talk about it. Kind of have a pall, if you will, a funeral, because it'll be a long time before we see helmets and shoulder pads again. Although the UFL comes up at the end of March. So,
and you know what? Some of us enjoy combine and free agency and everything in the draft as much as anything else. It's a 12-month sport now, and it's turned into that because
aren't those like Jets and Browns fans?
What's that?
Oh, that was cold.
It's true. I mean, but everybody now it's like, we need a guard or we need this or we need that, and I think that's what I don't know what came first, the chicken or the egg, or the fantasy football draft or the NFL draft. I mean, what spawned each other more than the other? Because I know that people watch the draft because they've become enamored with watching teams get built, and then they can build their own team in a fantasy league,
right?
And then they start watching the regular draft, saying this is how they really do it. So it's kind of interesting to see which one affected the other one more. So
I agree. All right, till next Monday for Longing for Scottsdale. Enjoy watching the golf this weekend. Wishing you were there. Remember, you went fishing in the cold. That was your choice this year. Yeah.
Yes, indeed. No doubt about it.
All right. I'm Spitz. He's John. We're out. See you next time, next Monday. Again, don't forget to subscribe, like, do all those things. Facebook, X,
YouTube,
Instagram, YouTube. Do it all. All right. And remember, take the longer of the two if you're on YouTube, because apparently I haven't figured out how to delete. And we had a kind of a 25-minute false start because we've had nothing but issues with technology today. But hopefully
we're
it gets
doing
better
all right. We got it done.
All right. See you, everybody.